Today I'm going to be comparing footage shot using the red 18-50mm T2.8 Cine lens, a PL mount lens Super 35 on my ZV-E1 compared to the Sony FE 2.8 24-70 G Master 2. Let's see what kind of difference it makes. As a side note, all footage was shot in S-Log3, S-Gamut 3 Cine. I think most of it was in shutter priority mode, so I could set it to 1/50th of a second because the frame rate is at 24. And you'll notice there's a little bit of variation in color correction. It's mainly the same. I tweaked it here and there to make it look somewhat similar, but to be honest, it's very subjective and I'm not a colorist. And honestly, from what I see so far, it's proving hard for me to distinguish the benefits of using a Cine lens. You know, on site, it might not be apparent from this footage right here, but it takes like 3 times as long to shoot with the red Cine lens, just because of all the manual features, not being able to rely on autofocus, all the new amenities that we're accustomed to. Also take in mind, it was a different day, so the day that I used the red lens was cloudy, whereas when I used the G Master was a lot sunnier. So I'm trying to account for that difference in color correction to the best of my abilities. So looking at this footage, I'm just thinking that regardless of which lens you're using, I think they're both way capable of accomplishing whatever needs you may have. This is no scientific experiment, but just aesthetically speaking, it's hard for me to distinguish which lens is which. Also, keep in mind that because the red lens is a Super 35, I had to switch the ZV-E1 into APS-C crop mode, whereas with the G Master, I'm using the full frame. And to keep the playing field as level as possible, both of these are shot at HD resolution, because on the ZV-E1, in order to use APS-C crop mode, it forces me to shoot in HD, not 4K. So that is why this footage is all HD. So to me, it looks the way I think things should look. Regardless of which lens you're using, I think it's possible to achieve a cinematic look, and I think this is pretty good for a one-man band. And you'll notice that I'm still dealing with the focus issue. I thought I'd solved it, but just for some reason, the red PL mount lens will not focus to infinity. It's just slightly too near. I think I'd be able to fix it if I could change the distance between the sensor and the actual Metabones adapter, but I don't know how to do that in any professional kind of manner, so I don't think I should attempt it. So at the end of the day, I know I might get a lot of hate for this, but after this test, my very subjective opinion is that the lens is only a small part of the equation which defines the look of the video. There's the camera settings, color grading, so many different aspects that also come into play. I personally think that just maybe spending a lot of money and resources to use a Cine lens might be overrated. And it's also hard to deny the fact that maybe it's not just about the actual performance of the lens itself, but the workflow. Having to actually manually focus and make adjustments on how, lens flares, bright lights react to different apertures. All of that is something that I realized I just take for granted when I put my camera on auto, but when you're really touching all these parameters in real time, it makes you think a lot more about the process. So maybe that's what it's about. I don't know. At the end of the day, I think it's a subjective opinion on whether this is worth it or not. Thanks for watching.